Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of our Yes Golf review. My name is Kevin, this is Jay, and we have an interesting one right now. The video is titled, The 5 Mistakes to Avoid When You're Purchasing Your Golf Clubs for the First Time.
For the first time?
Yes.
Yes.
There are a lot of mistakes, but these are the top 5. And I think as it goes towards the end, it gets gradually even more important, I think. So stick to the end. But if you don't know about this channel, this is a channel, we are Yes Golf, located in La Habra, California. We do a lot of fittings here. And through a lot of conversations that we have with our clients, with our customers, we get both advanced players, but a lot of beginners. And it seems like they have no clue about what to get, even what budget they should have. So hopefully this video will help you avoid some of costly mistakes. And this will feature some of the tips that you have to save money, but have your clubs work for you, and all of that. So let's start right away. Jay, the first one is, don't get fooled by what you see on TV.
Exactly.
What is that?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So the biggest thing, right, is that I want to be like Tiger.
Oh,
I want to be like Rory. I want to be
yes.
like Scotty. I want to be
Yes.
like all the best players in the
Or
world.
Nelly Korda for
Nelly Korda,
women.
right?
Yep.
You look at what they're playing, and you're like, I need that.
Yeah.
That is going to
want
help
that.
me hit 300-yard bombs. That is going to help me drain putts. That is going to help me stick it to the pin.
Yeah.
That is probably the most rash conclusions that you can come up
Yes.
by watching TV. Yeah. So the specs that pros use on TV are probably for a very, very small population of golfers out there.
Yeah.
So they swing much, much faster. They practice
Much more.
much more, right? They are getting paid to play golf.
Right.
Put
That's
that into
the key,
perspective.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are getting paid to play golf, right? So given that, the equipment that they use is probably not going to be for you, especially if you're just starting out
Yes.
in golf. Yeah.
So like if you're, even if you're a beginner, you can be like very much into the specs and stuff, and you see Scotty Scheffler playing Ventus Black 6X. Like it's probably over spec for you in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So don't believe this. Almost goes against like our because like we are a golf shop. We're here to sell golf clubs.
Yeah.
And sometimes those advertisements help us, but we're here to tell you that don't believe everything that you see on TV, because one, I think they get paid to play
Yes,
those.
exactly.
And even what you see on TV may not be the same, even though it looks the same, things like that.
Yes.
So number 1, don't believe everything you see on TV. Number 2 is, don't let your friend be the ultimate deciding factor when it comes to purchasing a golf club. So I am very adamant about this, because we all have that one friend who is just 2 strokes better than you. And then they give all the tips, including golf swings.
Yes.
But when it comes to, you ask them, hey, like what club should I get? And they go into this whole spiels about like you should get blades, or you should get like see what Rory's playing. Are you going back to the first point? But what I've seen is, I mean, those are good references because you already have trust built into friendship. So I don't want to dismiss that. But when it comes to purchasing a golf club, that can be anywhere between $500 to $3,000. Don't let that be the ultimate decision factor, because chances are they don't have the up-to-date information about clubs.
True.
Right? They could be stuck on an information that was 10 years ago. And if you see the technology that has changed over years, a lot of these local pros or local shops will have more up-to-date knowledge. But I also want to say, find a local shop or local pro that you can trust, a shop that is based on integrity, honesty, because there could be salesmen, like
Yeah.
car salesmen, who would try to sell you the most expensive ones.
Right.
We would like to say that we're not that. We want to get you what is most fit for you and things like that. So find a local pro, a local shop that you can trust, and talk to them, consult with them a lot, and refer to your friends
Yeah.
if you would need to.
Right.
That's one big thing. Anything you want to add to that?
So if there is, so I know that there are people out
Unless
there.
your friend is Jay,
Well,
listen to what you can listen to.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you know, the point does get to that,
Yeah.
is that unfortunately there are people out there that don't have access to fitters. You know, they don't have access to big stores where they can actually try out different clubs. So they do have to rely on, you know, playing golf with their friends
Yeah.
to get information or whatnot. And if you're gonna do that,
Yeah.
if it's gonna be a friend, I suggest you to pick out a friend that has somewhat of a similar physical appearance as you do. So similar in height, you know, similar in weight, similar in build. It would be great if they have a similar swing speed as well. So if you can find a friend that's better than you, that's already been playing golf,
Yeah.
and you want to get their advice, then
Yeah.
try to find a friend that resembles you.
Yeah.
You know,
See, like
because
that's what I think that's hard though.
it's
Like,
hard, but
how,
if, you know, if
how
you do.
many friends would you have that have a similar build, similar speed, similar tempo?
But believe it or not,
Yeah.
you know, this is from my personal experience, but friends, they tend to group with friends that are similar in,
That's true.
you know, because like they have similar hobbies as growing up. So if you're playing soccer together, usually, you know, you're in that kind of
Yeah.
group. You play basketball together, usually you guys are the tall guys,
Yeah.
you know. Or you know, that's kind of the case that I see, especially when it comes to sports. So if you're playing golf together, normally you probably have some sort of
Yeah.
link, I would say.
Yeah. This is kind of a side point to number 2. So you're actually getting 6 mistakes to avoid, but try it before you buy it.
Definitely.
Yes. And
Definitely.
we want to almost say,
Yes.
add to that and get fit before you purchase it. Because when you think about getting fitted for new clubs, a lot of people think about like upcharge. If you get into go, like almost people think going into get fit like they're going into get a car.
Yeah.
The car salesman, where you're going to get something that you would not need.
Yeah, they're
and
going to
pay
add
more.
options
Yeah,
and
add options,
whatnot,
things
and
like
you think that you're just
play
gonna,
with
yeah,
numbers and things
yeah.
like that. But again, this conversation is based on you have a pro or you have a local shop that you can trust. They're based on integrity. If that is established, getting fitted doesn't mean you're paying more.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of shafts that are no upcharge that may fit you way better.
Right.
So, for example, let's say you are someone new to golf, but you played baseball. So you know how to swing things.
Yeah.
Right?
So you have a fast swing speed.
Fast
right?
swing
Yeah.
speed.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people like who have played different sports, let's say they're physically buff or
Yes.
things like that. They naturally have a very fast swing.
They do. Yeah.
But if you look at what's called like game improvement irons, they're usually shafted with very lightweight shafts.
Yes.
So you can get the same head and get the game improvement or the forgiveness from that head, but you can get a heavier shaft to basically fit you at
Right.
no upcharge.
Exactly.
Wow, mind blown.
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
But that's such a game changer.
It is. Right?
Yes. Again, let's say you are super tall or super short. Length, cutting the length or extending the length of a shaft, no cost.
Yes.
But do
Usually
it.
no upcharge. At
Yeah,
all. Yeah.
because it's going to be so much better in a lot of ways. And also lie angle. This is probably too technical, but the way the lie angle, the way the sole sits on the ground, there's an angle to that we can adjust. Again, at no upcharge when you purchase the set. So those are all the things that you can get in a fitting session. And granted that you would pay for the fitting session, for us here it's $100 for irons. And when you purchase the irons that you get $50 off. And we have different promotions throughout the year. But paying that $50 is way better it's going to save you more money
in the long
in the
run.
long run.
Because not only that, right? But if you use the wrong equipment off the bat, you're going to develop a lot of bad habits.
Great point.
And getting rid of bad habits in golf is going to be costly
Yeah.
in terms of not only you're going to need more lessons, but you're going to also get kicked in the butt by your friends when you play golf, and that is going to take a big toll on your life. Your quality of life is going to go down, I swear. Yeah. So
Yes.
in a lot of different ways, it's going to be costly. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. So yeah, again, try it before you buy it. If you don't have a place where you can go get fit, try to go find where you can find some demo clubs. Try it out. That's probably the most important thing right there. Number 3 is interesting, Jay, and you had this. Don't future-proof your clubs too far. What does that mean?
Right. So I personally believe that when you start golf, right, there's a time period where you need to get fitted at least twice in your golf career. This is what I personally believe.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, at least
so
twice.
the first one is actually when you start off. And it goes hand in hand in what I was just talking about, is that if you don't get fit in the right specs off the bat, you're going to start developing very, very bad habits.
Yeah.
Those bad habits will stick for a very long time, and it's going to be really hard to fix. So if you have equipment that fits your physical capabilities off the bat, then you can start developing a more sound and solid swing. And so then once you start getting more reps in, then you're going to have a more consistent swing that's more sound, and then you can get fitted again. Probably that's going to happen when you're in your mid-handicap, mid-teens. You know, you're shooting 85, and then you start want to get into a single-digit handicap. That's probably when you're going to notice that you're going to need different equipment. But I strongly suggest, especially if you're beginning, that you get fitted for at least a basic fitting of, so that you get equipment that fits you, so that you don't have to do weird things from the get-go. It's too long. You know, you get hand-me-downs. They're too old. They're too stiff. You know, line goes all off and all that stuff. That leads to bad stuff.
Yeah. And also, you mentioned, Jay, that when it comes to not future-proofing too much, a lot of people have this mindset, oh, like, I'm going to use this set for next 10 years. So I know the clubs are expensive, right? But knowing that we're believing in you, that you're going to get better, right?
You are going to get better.
Yeah, you're going to get better. And as a fitter, we would probably not want you to, we're not getting you something that you would play for the next 10 years. We're getting you a club that is fit for you right now, and probably the next step, whatever that is. That's different for everybody. Because you want to get the right equipment at that stage and skill level that you are, right? So talk to us a little bit more about that.
So the skill level, right, is going to get better naturally. And when the skill level gets better, you're going to want different clubs to accommodate that. Whether if it's you gain more swing speed because you know you're more accustomed to swinging a golf club, or whether you want to start shaping shots. You know, you want a much more workable club. There are a lot of different things where a lower handicapper would want versus a higher handicapper, right? So the thing is, if you are stuck, if you're trying to future-proof yourself way too far, let's say you're just starting golf and you are like, I'm going to use this for 10 years. I want to use a blade. I eventually want to use a blade, right? The point is, your equipment might hinder you
to get there.
To getting there, exactly. So maybe if you practice with some game improvement irons and you got the confidence up, and you know the next step it comes in 2-3 years, versus if you're going to use blades from the get-go, you're not going to hit the ball anywhere close to as good as compared to using a game improvement iron. So your confidence is going to be low. It might even make you hate golf. You know, and this is a hobby. You're out there to have fun, enjoy yourself. You're not there to torture yourself, right? So you want to be able to play this and have fun at the same time, and you want to get better at the same time. So all those things put together, you don't want to be using equipment that's too far ahead of you.
And we want to help you. There's a really good tip that you can use when it comes to, because we've mentioned that golf clubs is expensive.
It is,
depending on your financial situation. But I think the used clubs and the trade-in programs are so good
Yes.
these days that if you take care of your clubs really, really well, the chances are 2 to 3 years later, it will retain pretty good value.
It will.
Right? So consider that as an option, that when you're getting fitted, when you're purchasing new clubs, that you have an option to trade these in for a lot of value towards the next set. That way, in the long run, again, in the series of 10 years, if you trade in your clubs and then get the right club for that skill, and then trade that, and then get another one, it will definitely be better financially and as far as the skill level wise.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps you out. The fourth one, I think it's the fourth one.
Yeah.
I think this is a fun one. Beware of the counterfeits.
Yeah,
It
I
seems
think
like
it's
you
a
had
great
an
point.
experience.
Yeah.
Do you have an experience of that? Okay, tell us about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was a great point because you're talking about trade-ins and selling used clubs and whatnot. So the secondhand market in golf is also very big. It's a lot bigger than you think.
Yeah.
eBay or OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, all these secondhand marketplaces have a big following in used golf clubs, right? And not only that, it's like garage sales or yard sales or you name it, right?
Temu.
Right. And now, see, yes. And it's not only that, it's not only the secondhand market, there are a lot of markets out there that sell counterfeits.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is also becoming a bigger issue. It's always been there, but it's been bigger because golf is becoming a lot more expensive. People are looking for routes to cut some costs, right? And when you're trying to cut corners, then you eventually end up in Temu.
Exactly.
Everyone, I'm pretty sure out there has some sort of experience of I can buy that on Temu for a fraction of the price. Yes. I mean, it's true. There are things that work that way.
Yeah.
But when it comes to golf clubs, unfortunately, the percentage of that happening is very, very low.
Yes. That's a really good point. Not a lot of people talk about that, but we know that market is really, really big. I have a funny story where a lot of people come to our store and then they ask for a trade-in value of their clubs. Sometimes it's very apparent that it's a counterfeit. And obviously we can't accept counterfeit clubs as a trade-in. And then we say in the nicest way possible that we don't think this is authentic. That's a code word for being fake, right? So we don't think this is authentic. And you just see like the eyeballs just like shaking and you see the distraught, this feel in that person's emotion. So we know that it's out there. So beware. I know we are for you that it's all about reducing price, the cost, but don't do that at the risk of getting counterfeit clubs.
Right. So counterfeit clubs are bad, obviously, because the money's not going to the right person who righteously made it and developed it, right? But the performance is just night and day. It is, especially when it becomes to like drivers or clubs that have a lot of technology in them. You'll see a lot of difference in the technology and the performance, right? But even in like simple irons, irons are just, especially blazers, they're just chunk of steel, right? Putters, they're just a designed chunk of steel, right? But even in them, the thing is that the tolerances that when they're built, they have a much wider variance in tolerances. So there are times where the manufacturing factory of an authentic product, let's say for TaylorMade, is made in China. They often have issues where it's actually the same factory that makes the original products.
Wow. Okay.
But the blueprints get leaked.
Yeah.
And then they use those blueprints to make counterfeits. Counterfeits, or they could be products that didn't pass quality control, and they're selling that on the secondhand market or markets like AliExpress or Temu or whatnot, right? And those products definitely are not going to be up to the quality that you'll expect from buying a $600, $700 driver or $1,000+ for an iron set, right? So that is something that you definitely don't want to do. is go for the low-hanging fruit, trying to save a couple $100, and then later on not knowing why your clubs aren't performing as you want. Like you're going to be going down a rabbit hole thinking that, oh, is it my swing?
It's you,
Or, you know, am I doing this wrong or that wrong? But at the end of the day, it could just be that you're not using good quality clubs.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point.
Yeah.
Again, not a lot of people point that out, but I think it's knowing how much this market has spread into all sorts of markets. It's important to address that. The fifth one is actually a very practical one, Jay.
Yes.
And I think this is something that a lot of people can do right away, even if you got some clubs right now, and is that get the right grip.
Yes, right. So us as fitters, right, we do have to slide in something that, you know, will benefit you guys out there. Is that club fitting, usually when you think of club fitting, is that I want to get the right head, I want to get the right shaft, I want to get the right length, the lie angle, the weight, the swing weight, all those good things, all of those technical things. Great. But you can also think that it costs a lot of time and also a lot of money to do all those things to get it right. Now, there's one thing that you can do very, very cost effectively is that you can get your grips fit for you. Right?
Tell us more about that.
Right. So the grip size, the grip is the only thing that actually connects the club to the body. So it's the first thing that connects the club to the body. And if you don't have the proper grip, that will also make you do a lot of weird things in your swing.
Yeah.
If you have a too thin of a grip, then you're going to try to grip onto it a little more firmer than you need to, and then you're going to be a lot more tense.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be more relaxed. Bad posture, a lot of that stuff. Also, you're going to develop a lot of joint pain by doing that, by gripping it too hard, right? So a lot of pain, a lot of bad posture. Same thing with too thick of a grip, right? You might not be able to have enough control of the face. So thicker grips, you can't close the face enough, so your face is going to be wide open. Also, grips have different weights on them.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
So having a different weighted grip will affect the swing weight or the overall weight, static weight of the club.
Yeah.
So just by changing the grips, you can actually get your desired swing weight. If you feel like the club head is too heavy, then you can get a heavier grip to counterbalance that, to actually make the club head feel relatively lighter. In terms of swing weight, you can lower the swing weight so that you can swing a little more comfortably. So there are a lot of things that you can do just by changing the grip without having to go through bells and whistles and loopholes to try to make the perfect club.
Yeah. You made a really good point when it comes to, because we get a lot of customers who've not watched this video and went on to buy a club that is way too light for them, way too heavy for them. And then they come and usually, or not usually, but sometimes we're able to remedy that or rectify that by changing grips.
Yes.
And you mentioned that if the club head feels too heavy, like you can counterbalance that by going to a heavier grip. And this can be something contradictory to what you would think, because like if you think club is too heavy,
then you want to go with the light one.
But because they're kind of a balance, you can see that if you feel like the head is too heavy, you can go with the heavier grip. That way it balances and makes it lighter. So those are the things, again, getting the right grip helps you not only with your swing, but also the way you feel with the swing you make with that club. So that's a really, really good tip. So get the right grip. Anything else you want to add when it comes to grips or anything in general that we talked about?
Grips, you know, just a couple of things to add on to the grips is that there are specialty grips too.
Oh, that's right.
Especially for beginners, right? So because this video is for starters. So there are grips that have what we call a rib in it, or we call them reminders or whatnot. So a lot of grip companies now have those models, and which is that there's a little spine on the back of the grip where you can always keep your fingers. It reminds you to put your fingers at a certain position. So a lot of the beginners, what they struggle with is having a sound grip on gripping the golf club, and it's different every time. So if you have a reminder or a ribbed grip, then that can actually help you develop a really a steady, consistent golf grip, which the grip is so important. It lasts forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, when it comes to specialty grips, there are also grips that are really, really big.
Oh, yes.
Like jumbo grips that Bryson DeChambeau uses. And a lot of people who have like arthritis.
Yes.
It's like a game-changing thing for them. And maybe you are in later stage of life and you have that issue.
Right.
And you are getting into golf. Or maybe you've played for a while and you stepped into this video, and that could be a really, really helpful to enjoy the game that we all love.
Yes.
So hopefully these have helped you to make a good decision when it comes to purchasing golf clubs. I think we're gonna have an intermediate version of this and an advanced version of this, and hopefully this will help you again to save money in the long run, enjoy the game, and also just get the right fit for your game so you don't injure yourself as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel and help us grow this channel. And we want to build a community, so leave us any questions that you have, or the comments, or maybe leave a comment tips that you can give to other golfers who are looking to purchase their first clubs.
Chime in.
Chime in, and we would love that. Thank you so much, and we will see you on our next video. See you guys.
Bye.